Okay, this is an interview with Julius Gross, the
Now
Hampton
known as
Inn.
Jay.
Pardon?
Now known as Jay.
Now known as Jay, okay. At the Hampton Inn, Tarrytown, New York. It is February 5th, 2003, approximately 3 o'clock p.m. The interviewers are Mike Russert and Wayne Clark. Could you tell me your full name, your date of birth, and place of birth, please?
My name is Julius Gross, now known as Jay. I was born in the Bronx, New York, on October the 3rd, 1916.
Just trying to turn my phone off so it doesn't ring while we're working. What was your pre-military service education before you went in?
I went to grammar school, high school, and graduated from New York University.
Okay, now you graduated before you went into service?
Well, that's part of my story.
Oh, okay. One question then before you tell us that. Where were you and what kind of feelings did you have when you heard about Pearl Harbor?
That's very interesting. I had a very good friend, a lifetime friend, he just died recently. I was at his home. He came from a family of eight children.
Mm-hmm.
We were all sitting around, it was a Sunday morning,
Mm-hmm.
all sitting around, and all of a sudden there was an announcement on the radio. Pearl Harbor has been bombed by the Japanese. We each looked at each other and said, where the heck is Pearl Harbor? That's how I learned about it.
Mm-hmm.
And from then on, of course, everything came from there.
Do you know what you felt when you heard about this?
Well, we felt, yeah, all of us were of age to be called. And we said, oh, here comes a war, and we're going to be in war. We all thought of that, but we hope not. That's all I can tell you about that. That's how I heard about it.
Okay, so tell us, were you drafted or did you enlist?
Okay, that comes the next story.
Okay.
When they bombed Pearl Harbor, I was in the last year of college. In fact, the last 6 months. And lucky me, I picked a low number in the draft. So naturally, they called me up in the early part of that was 1942, right? It was in 41 they had bombed. In early 42, they called me up. So I asked them to please let me finish college first, and I'm not trying to avoid anything, but trying to finish college. So I came from a rather small town. At that time, I was living in New Jersey, called West New York, New Jersey. And my father was pretty well known. I don't know if he had anything to do with it, but instead of giving me a delay, they put me in 4F. A 4F means, of course, that I'm incapable of going. So I said, fine. So I finished college, and they never called me again. Time was going, the war was getting worse. All my friends had already been taken. Even my younger brother was in, and I knew they were going to look at it again, because I knew there was nothing wrong with me. So instead of that, I decided I was going to enlist. And I also knew that if I was put where they want me to go, and if I faced an enemy with a gun in his hand, and I had a gun in his hand, I couldn't kill him. So I said, let me join something where I don't have to do that. So I figured the Air Force was the best way, and I can drop bombs on them. So I was working in New York City at the time for an accountant. I went to study accounting in college. And I took the afternoon off and went down and enlisted in the Air Force. And this is a good one in this whole story. I enlisted in the Air Force, and they said, okay, come on, we'll call you back in a couple of weeks for examining. So a couple of weeks they called me back downtown New York. I come down into a big room, and there's 60 fellas there. And we're sitting far apart so you can't copy from each other, you know. And they gave us a written exam. This from 8 o'clock in the morning to 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock they said, okay, the exam is over, go out to lunch, come back, and we'll let you know what happened. So we go out to lunch, come back. This time there's a door between in the room, half closed. And we come in and out, all 60 of us sitting in one room, and a lieutenant or somebody, I think it was a captain or something, he sits up on the desk. When I call your name, go in the other room. He starts calling off names. He doesn't call me. Finally, there's only 20 of us left, and he hadn't called me yet. I said, I didn't even pass the written test. Anyway, he gets up on the desk, and he looks up and he says, well, fellas, you fellas passed. I'm sorry to tell you. So he said, now go home, and we'll call you back for a physical exam. A couple of weeks later, they called me for a physical exam. It was out in the Hudson River someplace. I don't remember where. And out of 20 of us, you won't believe this, out of 20 of us, we went through the very rigid exam. When we get done, only 5 passed the first time.
Wow.
I was one of the 5, after 4 effort. The rest of the other 20, I don't say were never called again because the Air Force won't pay for anything. This guy had bad teeth, this guy had a bad nose or something. They probably all got in later on. But just our 5, we passed. And that's how I got into the Air Force. From then on, they sent me for more examinations or throughout the city. I finally wound up after a lot of examination, they call you into a room individually, and they tell you what you're fitted for, either bombardier, navigator, or pilot. And when they came to me, they said, you're eligible for all of them. Which one do you want? So I chose navigator because I was studying accounting and I didn't want to be a chauffeur, so I chose navigator. And so then they sent us to Selman Field where I learned my navigation. And I went through the whole learning of it and everything. And at the end of that session, they called you, and again called you into the room. Oh, you either became a second lieutenant or a flight officer, which is lower than that. And I became a second lieutenant. And from then on, they sent me to around and a couple other places in the United States. I really don't remember where they were. I finally wound up in what do you call it? The word skipped me. Tonopah, Nevada. And that's out in the middle of the desert. And that's where the 8th Air Force was actually just starting, or the 458th was just starting. And they got bombardiers in and navigators and all, and they started made-up crews there. And I was assigned to a crew with 10 guys, to navigate a bombardier and 2 pilots. And we did practice they gave us an airplane, a P-24 plane, and we practiced there and learned all about things, and then they sent us off to war. Want to go on from there?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's where my diary starts.
Did you fly the plane over? Fly in the plane over?
That's what I'm trying to tell you. That's
Okay.
where the story continues.
All right.
They set these crews and we finished studying, and they say, now you're ready. So they go ahead and send us out to combat. It took us a month to get from Tonopah over to Europe. We went to South America and stopped all along the way. I got it all written in here where we stopped. And finally flew across the ocean and went to a new field which Britain had just given to the United States to let go from, called Horsham St. Faith. It was near Norwich in London, right about 90 miles north of England. And that's where we started. Now I was on one of the first 10 crews to arrive there, and the 458 didn't start flying until March the 1st. The first mission was on March the 2nd. I was on that first mission. And well, can I go on and finish the whole story now? All right. So we were one of the first 10 crews to finish 10 missions. And they decided to give us a week's vacation. So they sent us to a place, I even have the name of the place where they sent us. We stayed there for a week. And we came back and found out that our plane had been flown by a different crew. They were shot down. They were all killed. So we had no more airplane. So then for a while we went with different crews for the next couple of missions. Finally we were assigned another plane. The co-pilot, or the other plane that we had first, became pilot. And that's how I finished my 30 missions. And
did you name your plane?
yes. We didn't name the plane. The enlisted men went out one night. We didn't know about it. They put that name Wurf'less on it. And we came out, what the heck is Wurf'less? But we said, well, let's leave it there. What's the difference?
And was your first plane, did that have a name on it too? Or?
That's the first plane.
The one that was shot down.
The one was shot down. The second one, I never had a name on it.
Okay.
I mean, in fact, we never got a second one for a little while. I used to fly with other crews. We finally got a new plane, nice silver plane, but it never put a name on it. And, well, you want other incidents that happened?
Sure.
Okay. I remember one flight. It was a very cloudy day. Now, usually on a cloudy day, they used to cancel the missions, but this clouds were very low, below cloud, and above the clouds was clear. So they didn't call off the mission. Now, we were scheduled, we used to fly in a lead plane, one on each wing. We were scheduled to fly the lead plane. And somehow or other, after flying through all that clouds, the plane that was supposed to be on this wing, he got there first. And the other fellow was already on this other wing. So a pilot came up there, he says, I can call him up and tell him to get over here, but he's a good guy, let him go. Let him be the lead, okay. We went there, he led the three of us there, we come around all the plane. We got to the target, and just as they opened the bomb bay doors to drop the bombs, German bomber up there blew the plane apart. They were all killed again. And that was another incident that, I always say that I had a guardian angel guiding me. So that was that mission. Another mission, with another pilot at that time, we came to the target, or just before the target, we got hit with flak and knocked out one of our engines. So we lost speed, we couldn't follow him. The pilot decided he was going to go home. So he turns around and starts home, losing altitude as we go along. Suddenly we're attacked by German planes. And we said, this is the end, we can't fight with those guys, they were coming down. All of a sudden, American planes come down, P-28, P-38. P-38. He come out of the sky and drove them away. So we got home all right, losing altitude all the way. When we got to the channel, we were about 100 feet off the channel. We finally got in okay. That's another incident. And the final incident that almost killed me, I was a navigator, and I used to sit in the nose of the plane, or behind the pilots. And I had a little table, a wooden table there, and a window and everything. We used to have to look out and keep track. Well, I always looked out that window and over here. I looked away from the window for a while. A piece of flak came from the bottom of the car, broke through the bottom of the plane, went through the table, banged up on the ceiling, and came down on the desk. I picked it up, I burned my hand, it was so hot. If that had hit me, I wouldn't be here now. That's another. The rest of the missions were, we always got hit with flak, but we managed to get through.
Were most of your missions into Germany, or did you fly into France, or?
I'll show you later. I have a map that I made when I was flying. We went to France too, yes. You're getting all this, you're doing all this stuff there.
Yes.
Sure.
That's our mission, that's my mission.
Don't hold it too close, because then
Okay.
you hold it out there. Okay, I got it.
And that's all verified in here.
Okay, so you had your 30 missions.
30 mission, yes.
What awards did you receive, or decorations?
Distinguished Flying Cross, four air medals. They gave a certificate of valor they issued, and that's about all.
What was the Distinguished Flying Cross for? Why did you receive that?
Well, it sounds like an awful lot, and it is. Not many people got it, but if you finish 30 missions and you did a good job, they give you a Distinguished Flying Cross.
What was I going to ask? When were you discharged?
Well, I was discharged. Actually, I went right into the reserve. I wasn't discharged until 1955.
Okay, what did you do in the reserves? Were you ever called up, or
I was never called up, but but before that, well, if I tell you how I was discharged, after I came back from I finished my missions, I went home for a week vacation back in the United States, and then I was supposed to report to Atlantic City for rescheduling. That year, it was a big hurricane. You probably remember, I don't know if you were old enough then, but there was a hurricane that blew Atlantic City practically off the map. So in the middle, while I was home, they transferred me to Florida, and I was there for 9 weeks. And then they sent me to Harvard University for some reason or other. They took me to Harvard University to study statistical control. And from there, they sent me to IBM school to study their machines that they had. You know, they didn't have computers then, but they had machines that kept it. And I learned about that. Then they sent me to Dayton, Ohio, where they had a station in the airport where they kept all these records. And I was supposed to be in charge, but there was a civilian from IBM there. I was just there to see that everything was done right. From there, I was discharged. That was in and the reason I was discharged, I asked for a leave of absence so I can get married. So they told me that they used to discharge you by the points you had. And they said, you got more than enough points to be discharged. Why do you want to take a leave of absence? So I took the discharge. And I was on terminal leave when I got married.
did you ever use the GI Bill when you returned home?
No, I graduated college. I didn't have to.
How about the 5220 Club? Did you make use of that?
I never used anything. The only thing I took for him, I took a pair of glasses every year. And then I stopped that even because I didn't care much for it.
Did you join any veterans organizations?
Well, I recently joined the Veterans of Foreign Wars. And I also joined, there's a new organization now called the Distinguished Flying Cross Association. I joined that. And I joined the 8th Air Force Museum in Atlanta. That's about all.
Did you ever stay in contact with any of the crew members?
I didn't, but a couple of years ago, about 2 years ago, I got in touch through one of the organizations I belong to. I asked them please find if they can find them. They found 2 of my crew members. And through those 2, they told me that all the others were dead. They all died. There's just the 2 left. And I lost track of those 2 also, but there was about 2, what do you call it? Gunners. And but outside that, I didn't get in touch with anybody.
Going back to your plane, did you ever decorate your jacket at all?
No.
No, you never did. Okay. I don't know what
How did you feel when you heard about Roosevelt passing away?
Oh, I guess I felt as bad as everybody else. It was quite a shock. And what else can I say? I got over it eventually, but I felt very badly.
And where were you when they dropped the atomic bomb?
I think I was home then. And I was very angry that they did that. I didn't think they had to. I think it was done to show off, so to speak. Because that war would have ended soon anyway. The Japanese were pretty far down, and they couldn't go very far. So whatever we saved, we killed 1 million people to save that. I didn't think it was right.
Okay,
Especially the second one. That was totally unnecessary.
okay, do you have some things to show us then?
Well, the things I show you, like that map I wanted to show you. And this book has got this, and it's got all these measures.
Could you show us the plane? Wayne can take.
Wait, I'll tell you. I got pictures. I got pictures. I don't know a lot of things. This book has 2 pictures of us in there.
Oh, really?
Crew. No, you break them up. Here's one.
Okay.
Okay. All right, this is
Okay.
this book. And, well,
Okay. This picture right here.
yeah, this,
Whereabouts are you in
Yeah,
that?
this number in the end here.
the one kneeling here?
Yeah. The first one up here.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Hold it right there. Okay. All right. You got it.
Whoops.
There's another picture
There's
too.
another picture,
Yes.
was the same thing, except they left the Wurf'less out.
Oh, okay.
That's the word
They're
for
showing the,
That's when that Wurf'less is in, yeah.
the name of the plane.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay, that's,
Oops.
this book has my picture. Right there.
All right. Hold that up and I can zoom in on it.
Yeah, that's me,
All right.
before and after.
Okay.
All right, that's
Got
it.
it.
What else I got here? I got something else too. Oh, I have, you got these pictures. Here's a picture of me, if you want to see.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Picture of me that was an early picture, I was only a second lieutenant.
Now, when was that taken?
I was taken right after I got my promotion, I guess, from first lieutenant to first. No, after I finished the Selman Field,
Yeah.
some became second lieutenants, which I became.
All
That's
right.
when it was taken.
Okay.
Got it.
Beginning. All right, a lot of papers here. I don't think you want all this. It's just orders that were given to me. I don't know if you're any interest in that. You can't. I don't think you can even photograph these.
Yeah, unfortunately, they told us the copy machine was broken downstairs.
Yeah,
So-
we'd like to. Could you show us too that you kept the diary for the entire time you were in England?
Yeah. What can I show you if I look at my glasses?
If we could, here, let me just hold up. Let's see a sample of your writing. So you kept this the entire time you were over in England. You were able to record all of your missions in this?
Yeah. Not in detail, but I know each one. each
Yes,
mission
at
was
least
in.
where you were going and...
Okay.
And the trip over and the trip back and the whole thing.
Okay.
It's,
Now, you left this back at your base. You never carried it with you, did you,
what?
in the plane?
What, the diary?
Yeah.
Oh, I went to, time I write in the plane.
Yeah, yes, I knew that, but I was just curious if you...
No, but it's all here. And here's the names of all my crew members. Name, number of the plane, everything is here.
Okay, could you hold that page up and I can zoom in on that?
Plane name, plane serial number, everything is there.
Okay, got it.
What else can I show you? Oh, this book.
There's the other book down at the bottom there that's your...
This book is, this has all the missions in it that they flew. I went through them, I put dots on each one. See, you did. They started flying on the 2nd of March. See the little dot up there? I put those dots on all the missions. But they're all on there. So it's the same thing.
Okay.
Several
And
months,
this is the-
several months he's more.
Well, I'm gonna hold the book up for him to see the book. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
And this book has the same picture as there was in this one, so you don't need this. It's the same
Okay.
picture in here.
All right, well, thank you very much.
What else can I tell you? You see on January the 4th, for example, let's see, we left Tonopah on January the 4th, the flag cross.
Okay.
And I give you every day where we were. January the 5th, we arrived at Hamilton Field in California. January the 10th, we arrived at Palm Springs in California. That's how we went, for all through the country. We went through Texas, and then Tennessee, then Florida, and then Puerto Rico. That's the whole trip, to go across the sea. British Guiana, Brazil, Africa, the whole thing is in here.
But your parents were relieved when you got home
My parents,
in one piece.
my parents sure, you see, my parents were very sensitive, and I never would write to them at all. I write them only the good thing. But I had an uncle, and I wrote him letters. I got a couple of letters here that I wrote.
Yes, you mentioned you had a packet.
I used to write to him rather than to them. And I told him to, incidentally, here's a picture. I'm not in this, thank goodness. This is all the people that died. Here's an order. Well, you may be interested in this. They promoted me from first lieutenant to captain.
Yeah, hold it just like that.
I can't keep from shaking though.
That's all right. Okay.
Here's when I was discharged, 10th of August, 1955, finally.
Now, when you left Europe, you came back on a ship, I take it, right?
Yeah, I came back on the ship and I played poker all the way across the river. I came back a rich man.
Do you remember what camp you left England out of? Was it Lucky Strike or?
No, the field? I think. You mean flew from England?
Well, I guess
After-
most of the fellows they went to like one camp that they had like Lucky Strike or Chesterfield, and
Officers did that? I don't remember that. They came over separately. After I finished my missions, they had on the plane, the British invented a navigational equipment called a G-box.
Mhm.
And the Germans used to jam it. But somehow or other, I figured out a way to fool them. And every time I came back from a mission, they said, well, where did we go this time? How far did we go? And every time I told them, they were very surprised. So when I got done with my missions, they sent me to Ireland to teach this to the new coming in, the navigators that came in, new ones. And I was there for several months, and it was the best part of my war there. Those guys were so enthusiastic and glad to listen to me, and I enjoyed that. So, well, that's my history. I don't
Okay,
know.
well, thank you very much.
thank you.